Oman Ghana, Debia Asamfufrosi, daughter of a Medra and Sensama MPB decisions for Parliament House and Numpodi Yehunipa Oka Sansamano. Blakk Rasta, Nodia Betumpodi, Echenda. Say, we're adding more petrol to the fire as Sunny Delano and Yasam Ketwa. Rollins family, baby Omubiano, Umuya Mescall. Samson of Frank Annoh Dompreh, NAFI, Richard Ahiaba, baby Omubiano, Umuya Mescall. Masrawa. So we share video we no better watch and your comment section. Or subscribe here. Master so subscribe to TRENDSGH. That turn on notification bell on for latest update. Now 3 days ago, the NKB shemu say Zanato Rollins I original parliamentar Okasa and the MP Bako from the minority side Ochemu said daughter of a Medra. Now Obakaya on this and some way no amount for Brinano H say MP no Kasa and some rebusia one can say ye Ebisu Chirema MP no asamano kaya no enwano no. Now on this and some way Anlo ahimfokra no I together with Togbisri krano chiremu Omama Albans man a case for Bagman I days be say nipa oka sansam no eno de by 10th February just say wohwemu in 3 days time no e was say nipa oka sansam no Albans man a case for Bagman obo sa nipa ni din anya sa de a dododo eno mode so wo ho mu. Now, and someone a Blakk Rasta, onu di o chiremu say, na Anlo chiefs no what leben. Hello, what leben? What then some no mo keka ho no. And your mom bread no mom beti o masum. Almost say nipa na kan den daughter of a Medra. Sir, and your Blakk Rasta obeko deep.
Why are Anlo chiefs interested in this matter? There's a lot of unemployment in Anlo. There's a lot of flooding in Anlo. They have a lot of problems in the area, yet they are interested in this matter. Let's ask ourselves, why are they interested in this matter? It's so clear. You know it and I know it. Rawlings was an Ewe man. That probably is the reason the Anlo chiefs are very interested in knowing the identity of this person who has meted out this disparaging remark. In their own words, let us look at this thing clearly. Rollins was an Ewe man and a Scottish man. We are expecting that the Scottish people would also come out and say that they are interested in knowing the identity of this lawmaker who uttered those disparaging remarks. Can I now tackle this issue? The person who called Zanato the daughter of a murderer, was he right or wrong? My brother, my sister, in the days of Rollins, we suffered terror. Those of you who were not yet born in 1979, we saw horror in this country. People were abducted and killed summarily. We saw judges abducted and set ablaze. My brother, my sister, the mystery of which, my brother, my sister, is still pending in the clouds. Rollins denied involvement. Yet it happened in his regime. In the regime of Rollins, we saw women in Kajetia market stripped naked and whipped in their vaginas. We saw people abducted and taken to the Gonda barracks and some other such barracks and shaved with blunt instruments and blades. We saw, my brother, my sister, people who were carried away and beaten, most of whom we were told were dead, and carried all the way to the morgue at 37. One of them finally survived. He went on to move into exile and later came back into this country to become a minister of energy. Do we all remember this person? It was all in the days of Rollins. Can we run away from the heinous crimes of Rollins in his regime from 1979? The several murders and bloodshed. And even at the time, Ghanaians were asking Rollins to let more blood flow. How do you let blood flow when you don't murder people? Rollins was a murderer. It's the truth. What are you running away from? So when people die, when murderers die, they all of a sudden become saints? Is that what you are saying? Because we live in a country where Atayi all of a sudden will become Saint Atayi because he's dead. Say no bad thing about the dead. That is your motto. Until we start to shame the dead. like they did in Belgium when Leopold II died and they threw his dead body right in the middle of the street for people to hoot at and spit at. My brother, my sister, crime and foolishness will never ever stop in this country. Rawlings was a murderer, my brother. When the elections came, listen attentively, and listen, people were killed in the reign of Nana Akufo-Addo. What did we say? That Nana Akufo-Addo murdered some people during the elections. Mahama says when he comes into power, he would institute an investigation into it, and he started already. My brother, my sister, who do we say killed the people? They said Nana Akufo-Addo did because it was his regime. Rollins was a soldier who went into a bloody coup d'etat. Bloody coup d'etat. Shot and killed many in order to gain power. Should we give him a bouquet of flowers for the coup d'etat that saw the lives of many go down the drain? Was he a saint? Was Rollins a prophet? Have we so soon forgotten our history? The bloodiest coup d'etat that ever happened in this nation was instituted by Rollins. He killed many in order to become leader of this nation. Is that not a murderer? So I am wondering why there's so much noise, and the coward MP who also mentioned it and cannot own up and come out and say, hey, I said it, and these are my reasons for saying that. That is the most cowardly, more cowardly than Baumia. If I had the opportunity to stand before these chiefs, I will honorably ask them to tell me how you would define or call a man who murdered many in order to become leader, in whose regime innocent judges were carried out, including a woman, killed and set ablaze at Bondas, and say, why can't we speak the truth anymore? What is wrong with us? Zenator is the daughter of a murderer. That is correct. But does that make her a murderess? No. She cannot inherit the crimes of her father. Do we understand that? But that does not mean she is not a daughter of a murderer. She is. Let us call a spade a spade. Should we call Zenator the daughter of a pastor, or the daughter of a reverend, or the daughter of a saint? No. We saw the bloodiest violence in this country in the reign of Rollins. Many people went down the drain. In my days as a little boy, anytime Rollins' name was mentioned, we all ran under the bed. I was only 5 at the time Rollins took over power in 1979. My brother, my sister, we have seen so much bloodshed in this country, all in the days of Rollins. And today, if his children are being described as the children of a murderer, and we are crying, Anglo chiefs are all coming out, they want to know that these are disparaging remarks. What is disparaging about a murderer whose children are called the daughters and sons of murderers? Do you think that they would ever call the daughter or the sons of Kwame Nkrumah sons and a daughter of murderer? A murderer? Will they ever say that? No, because Nkrumah murdered nobody. In the days of Kwame Nkrumah, there was nothing like capital punishment ever endorsed by Kwame Nkrumah. They rather attempted to kill him several times. But even with that, he was still very tactful and level-headed. He never ordered the pulling of a trigger. In the days of Rollins, the gun was the master. Soldiers were gods and demigods. When we saw soldiers on the streets, we ran. Some of you are so young, you do not understand what it was in 1979 and all the way after 79. We saw blood. I saw blood. I saw people shaved and beaten to pulp. You dared not say anything against Rollins. Yes, thankfully, Rollins also paved the way for democracy. But that does not erase the fact that he was a murderer.
What a Blakk Rasta will say that killings na there no see a time where JJ Rollins or your cool leader. Now on this and same when I come on Chimonka Highway no so a man for be switch them say. And you're not JB Dankwa, say a Kwame Nkrumah time no much JB Dankwa. JB Dankwa owu ye wo inside one prison. And we to the pair Blakk Rasta on one explanation or the assessment. Then who killed JB Dankwa? Ebusia eno asam sabe. Now about Frank Annoh Dompreh say same we say I we MPP ni na okoto say NPP ni NDC ni kwa na sa wo ye NPP supporter and the ain enkopata ntokwa no boa yere ho na ne de boa NPP no mum bro NDC ni ye pa a ode so. Now on this same way NPP omo director of communications Richard Ahiagba wa be kire mu say Frank Annoh Dompreh ensam na wokan ye no enya ne bone so na for some time now no NDC for omu sisi NPP na inte no de so okasa ensam na enya bone eno na Blakk Rasta wo kire mu say o message Emma Frank Annoh Dompreh any afi Richard Ahiagba.
When you have empty heads as leaders, when you have people with no common sense who are supposed to be leaders, this is what you get. May I repeat it? When you have people with no common sense, you have people with no common sense of patriotism as leaders, this is what you get. First and foremost, what did Frank Annoh Dompreh, this honorable Frank Annoh Dompreh, say in a tape that is in wild circulation? This honorable Frank Annoh Dompreh said, and I quote, "Anywhere you see an NDC person and an NPP person fighting, join hands with the NPP person to beat up the NDC person." Is this common sense? Granted, there is violence. Some foot soldiers of the NDC are misbehaving, which has widely been condemned. But if a leader has common sense, he won't go up and say, retaliate. When they attack you, retaliate. You know what he will say? He will first and foremost condemn whatever violence it is and would ask for peace and unity. Rather than saying, when you go out there and see an NDC person and an NPP person fighting, join us with the NPP person to beat up the NDC person. Are they not both Ghanaians? The laws that you make in parliament, this honorable Frank Annoh Dompreh, are they for only NPP people or NDC people are included? Now the people who voted you into power, it is possible that a lot of them voted skirt and blouse. Don't take it for granted that your presence in parliament is 100% partisan. In other words, it's only people of your party that voted for you. There are some people who don't belong to your party that just like you and believe that you will be a better NP rather than their party's representative. But that common sense is not there. Yet these are the people who are supposed to be the leaders of the people. These are the people who commanded the youth to move out and be violent. And this happens. Today, Annoh Dompreh, he looks heavy and well fed. A lot of the youth in his constituency are suffering from Koshoko. Go to Nsawam Adwajiri. There are a lot of people who are utterly hungry. They even look worse than refugees from some parts of Africa whose names I don't want to mention. You are well fed. You can afford to go out and incite hungry boys and girls to get out there and fight. It hurts me. I thought Annoh Dompreh himself would say that he will go out on the street and fight the NDC people. Why don't you bring your family out? You and your family come and join hands and fight. People like Annoh Dompreh, dishonorable, and Ahiagba, ask them if they know the last time they had a mosquito bite. Can I ask again? When was the last time dishonorable Frank Annoh Dompreh had a mosquito bite? Yet the youth of Nsawam Adwajiri, the music they hear every day is the music of the mosquito running around their ears all over the place. What point is Blakk Rasta trying to make? These are bourgeoisies who have enough money to feed themselves and their families, and if anything goes wrong, they will be the first to jump on the plane and leave you to your own destiny. It hurts, my brother. When I heard that comment, and he's supposed to be called an honorable, I shiver. The people of Nsawam Adwajiri by now are so disappointed in this guy called Frank Annoh Dompreh. He was one of those who broke the tables in parliament. One of those who broke microphones in parliament. If I had my own way, this guy should be sent back to the gutters where he belongs. These are gutter boys. They are not MPs. They are gutter boys. No wonder one MP came out and said he is a gutter boy from Ashaima. Do you remember that MP? He said in Ghana, later on he came and apologized that he had called himself a gutter boy. The real gutter boy is this Honorable Blakk Annoh Dompreh. If you can go to the Parliament House and break the legs of tables, muntutu, munyiyi, and you are supposed to be called an honorable, you should be bowing down your head in shame. And by now, you should go down on your knees with tears coming out of your eyes like the river Mississippi and crying to Ghanaians, especially to the people of Nsawam Adojiri, begging them for disrupting and disrespecting their integrity. It's a shame. And this is a miscommunicator called Richard Hyangba, who nobody respects in Ghana because he's another person with no common sense of patriotism. He also comes out to say, yeah, you know, what he said, he didn't mean any harm. It's because of the violent nature of the NDC attacking our members. He's only telling them that they should just come together and beat the NDC people. It is, I think it's okay. What is okay? Do you want a national war? Do you want a civil war? It's condemnable. The acts of some of these foot soldiers of the NDC moving from place to place, removing CEOs and trying to be violent in so many places. We have condemned that time and again. My brother, my sister, what else should we do? You are getting your members to come together and beat NDC people. And you are in the minority, micro minority. You are like a drop in the ocean. You have lost all integrity in Ghanaian politics with your arrogance, corruption, wanton corruption, and disrespect for the Ghanaian people. Nobody respects your party anymore. It will take you another 6 trillion years to gather again and make any meaning in this country. You're not thinking about that. We gave you the opportunity to lead us, and you led us into the gutters. Your own vice president told us that he was only a puppet on a string. He was only a mate following the orders of a dictator called akufo-addo. What else can you tell us? What else can you tell us? I leave it here. Please don't listen to people who have no common sense of patriotism. Don't listen to empty heads. The youth are hungry. They need food to eat. They need education. They need to be taught patriotism. They don't need to be taught violence.
Richard Ahiagwa message when from Blakk Rasta. One Blakk Annoh Dompreh. But about JJ Rollins there na Blakk Rasta and some more kind of busuya yenyina no yatibi. Yes, Blakk Rasta watch him say JJ Rollins was a murderer. And it say ebi mu freye JJ Rollins number say daughter and sons of a murderer. Anya the one so according to Blakk Rasta also no de ohu ye ni fili gado chi no de ohu bi o. At that moment, I JJ Rollins or you cool no Blakk Rasta within 5 years. I watch in summer or the 2 guys. Mashawa, so we share video we no better watch your comment section. Or subscribe here. Mashawa, so subscribe to TRENDSGH. Now turn the notification bell on for latest updates. Macro. Secure your land or building today by reaching out to Land King Company Limited. About cadastral site plan and I say building plan who essence sama Land King Company Limited or bidi hujuma amount and tentem sasuna omo facilitated title certificate and I say building permit and who essence sama will reach out to Land King Company Limited ebusunya omo be survey amount te consultation eye free omo opokwase here omo number na etwegu ewo screen no Land King Company Limited no omo kan say secure your property today.